Good morning. It's the Saints man, small van driver, on and off the CX. And it's actually Monday, bank holiday Monday, 10 past 9. Been away for the weekend, went away Friday to Wales with the wife. Came back last night, so I haven't had time to do a video. Excellent weekend. Weather was shocking on Friday. Bit better on Saturday. It cleared up in the afternoon and a lovely day yesterday. Nice break, and now got a day off today. Going over to the daughters 11 o'clock. So yeah, last week no backloads. Well, one day. Rubbish, really. It is. Yeah, it's a bit of a problem trying to get a backload at the right price. People are doing backloads for 40 pence, 45 pence. I've chatted to 2 or 3 shippers who trust. I know that they're not lying, and they're getting prices that don't even cover. I don't think they even cover fuel. So it's a bit of an issue, really. What to do? Whether to stay localish so you ain't losing too many miles, or whether to go for a really long distance job and stay out. But Thursday saved the day for me. It really did. I'll go back to Monday. First of all, the fuel. My cheapest fuel was 108, which worked out at 130. Both cards were very similar. Um, I've got my UK fast fuel card have informed me that Morrison's is no longer on their approved list. I don't know why. Which I use Morrison's quite a bit. I try and use Shell, Esso, BP. But if it's a Morrison's, it means you can use the facilities or get some to eat. It's a bit of a mystery, but that's what it is. I did have a job booked in, and it was going to Malvern, which obviously is not a great area. It's Worcester, south of Worcester, from Northampton. It was an 8:30 pickup, and I went to Malvern and I couldn't get nothing. I got to Worcester, nothing. I sat there for 2 hours. Decided to drive back closer home, and I was virtually knocked it on the head. So it was going to be a really crap day, and I got a job from Coventry to Oxford. Not ideal. But it was fairly good money, and it was picking up one box, going to Oxford to a construction site in one of the research centres. So that made it okay day. I ended up doing 60 dead miles that day, plus the dead miles from Malvern to Coventry. So it was a lot more. Tuesday, I got a job booked in, and it was a 9 o'clock pickup, which is not ideal, but it was to Tunbridge Wells. So it was a good distance. And I was looking, and then it was on to Woking. There was 2 drops. Well paid job, really well paid job. I'd got to do Tunbridge Wells first, and then I've got to go from Tunbridge Wells to Woking and leave everything at Woking. But bloody hell, could I get a job back from Woking, Slough? Not a chance. There was quite a few jobs. I quoted as low as 65 pence. I think I even quoted less than 65 pence on a job that got me towards Northampton. I think it was about 62 pence. Nothing. So ended up doing 88 dead miles back. Again, it wasn't brilliant. It was okay. It didn't hit my target. My target normally is 200 a day, but that's not happening at the moment. My minimum target is probably about 150 plus VAT a day. So I was just about doing that. Wednesday was a complete shocker. Absolutely rubbish. I got a job. I booked a job in. I wish I hadn't booked the job in. You know, when you book a job in earlier, and then later on there's better jobs come up. But they weren't happening earlier in the week. So I thought, book this job in, we'll be okay. It took me to near Gatwick from Northampton. It was a pig of a journey on Wednesday getting there. I got good money for it, don't get me wrong, really good money. But when you can't get a backload, it creates a problem. And also had a phone call for the Thursday. Was I interested in doing a job going to Pontypool? And it was collecting Wednesday night, and it was delivering to Pontypool at 9 o'clock on Thursday. It was good money, and it was an important job. And we'd arranged to pick it up at 6:30 in Northamptonshire, and then I was going to drive to Pontypool. I was leaving at 5:30 in the morning on the Thursday. So Wednesday, absolute shocker. Rubbish day. Job to Hawley, nothing back. Had to be back for 6:30 to pick up this item, which I did. Thursday needs to be a big day, and the day before bank holidays are normally really busy. So it was a bit of a, let's take the job to Pontypool and hope I'm going to be there at 9, delivered at 9, and let's hope there's something to get me somewhere back towards home because I weren't staying out because we were going away Friday. And luckily, I got to Pontypool, delivered it just before 9, 10 to 9, all good. Got some fuel, topped the fuel up, and there was a job. There was two jobs. One was to Southampton, which I weren't interested in. The other one was to Nottingham. Well, it's between Leicester and Nottingham, which I was interested in. And I got the job, and it was from Cardiff. It wasn't in Cardiff. It was a place called Taffs Wells. So if any of you in Wales, you'll know where that is. It's just the other side of the M4. It's the north side of the M4. And it's picking up a pallet. So I still got a cough. And yeah, got the job. Excellent. Excellent. Made it a really good day. It was a fair old journey. Traffic was horrendous. Bank holiday traffic starting. The A46 south of Coventry shut, so you can't even cut through, which is my little favourite cut through. Not really. But we got it to Nottingham. Can't remember what time we got it. About 2 o'clock. So day's good. I'm well over target for the day, and it makes my week okay. But then what happened was I left. It was just between Leicester, like I say, Leicester and Nottingham, and a job came on from Old Dalby to Northampton. Fantastic. There was a lot of jobs on there, and there was no drivers. I checked who was nearby, no one nearby. So I put over £1 a mile on that job to get me, and I got it. Phone went instantly, and I got it. And it was one box that I got to go to a theatre company in Northampton, and picked it up. I was 10 miles from it. I hadn't counted for the 10 miles, so it made it about £1 a mile, and took it to Northampton. So Thursday was a cracking day, over £300, £310, and it got me home, no dead miles. That's the day you want, but it only happened one day out of 4, and it was only because of the day before bank holiday. And when I got home, there were still jobs going, but I was done and dusted. I was home by 5, so that saved the week. I'll go for the figures. I did a fair few miles, did 1,200 miles. I did 36 hours duty time in 4 days. 9 hours a day. 9, 8, and 27. Yeah, exactly 9 hours a day. 28 hours driving, so did quite a lot of driving, and 690. Very poor. You add the VAT on, it comes to 828. And you take off your 10%, your £82 for your flat rate, it comes out at 745.20, which if you divide that by 4, because I only did 4 days, is 186 a day. So that's better than it has been the last couple of weeks, and that's just because of Thursday. If it hadn't been for Thursday being a really good day, we were on for a shocker. I've got people. I've had a couple of guys saying they're really interested in joining the CX. One guy's been laid off. He was 57. He's from near Cambridge. He's asked me on a question on my YouTube channel, and I haven't answered. I've sort of tried to answer, but I just don't think it's viable. It depends how much you've got to earn. But I'll quickly go into when you set up. I've done this now for 5 years. If you need to get a van, you need to get all your bits and pieces, your insurances, your subscriptions to CX, everything has got to be in, all your equipment you need for van. You've got to, trolleys, straps, 3 lots of insurance, public liability, goods in transit, hire and reward. It's all massive amount of money. And then if you're starting up, there's a good chance you're not going to get paid for 2 months because companies are 30 days end a month, 45 days end a month, 60 days from invoice. That's 2 months. So to get a decent van, I think you're looking at 10 grand, over 10 grand. That's for a half decent van. And then you've got depreciation of your van. 2 years, you do a van in 2 years if you do enough miles. You know, mine's coming up to 2 years, and I'm seriously looking at changing the van. It's running okay, but it's done 178,000 miles. It's a massive amount of money. I rough estimate is about 30 grand you need, because you ain't going to get paid for 2 months. You're going to use diesel. You know, you could get through 250 quid, 200 quid of diesel a week on a small van. If you're busy, if you're not busy, you perhaps do 100, 150. You know, you've got to add that in. So I'd say 30 grand to be on the safe side before any money comes back in. So, and that's, you've got to pay your wages. You still need wages. So you're not going to make a lot of money. I just think at the moment it's not viable. I'm lucky. I'm 61, nearly 62, and I haven't got a mortgage. No one lives at home apart from me and my good lady. So I don't need to earn mountains of money, and I haven't got, you know, responsibilities. I haven't got a mortgage. You know, we live on a big holiday park, so it's, you know, it's less money. But yeah, sorry to be a negative about that, but I just think it is very expensive. And the CX, there is a massive influx of drivers, and they're, I've noticed per day, because once you get on the app on the laptop, you can see how many jobs are sold that day, and there's definitely a decline from last year for the small van, well, midi van. You know, there was probably 500 jobs a day, and at the moment there's probably 330, 340, and there's more drivers. So, you know, you got to work that out. Also, you've got to work out the area you're driving from. If it's a really crap area, you're out for the week to make money, in my opinion. In my opinion. So, sorry to be a bit negative, but shouldn't be. Also, let's change it. The Saints won. Yes. They beat Newcastle on Friday night. We watched it in a pub in a place I cannot pronounce. It began with a D, Dongaloa. It's not that it's not how you pronounce it, but we watched it in a pub, had a great night, big TV, and they beat Newcastle 35-34. So it was a struggle, but we had a good night. Um, Next week we're 4 day a week in because there's no work today, Monday. And funny enough, there was a job this morning, but again, it's pointless going. It was from I'll tell you where it was: Northampton to Crawley. Crawley's Gatwick. You're going to get nothing. You get nothing. Someone's done that job, I bet, really cheap. They're getting nothing. And if they're from Northampton, you've got to drive home. It's 110 miles. You double it because you're driving home, 220 miles. If you're looking at probably bank holiday, I don't know, 85 pence a mile, 170 plus 17, 190 quid. You should be charging 190 quid minimum on that job. And I bet that's gone for peanuts because it went like that. So. Yeah, that's why I don't work bank holidays unless there's a wait and return or it's a shipper on who's prepared to pay that money so that it's worth doing. So anyway, so again, we've got a 4 day week this week coming up. Got a busy weekend this weekend. It's our wedding anniversary on Friday, and it's my wife's birthday on Sunday, and we've got a rugby game on Saturday, so we are busy. Hope you're all doing well. Let's hope it picks up. It did pick up a little bit. So, and we are surviving. That's the word for it, surviving. Making enough money to survive. So, hope you had a great bank holiday. The weather today is looking a bit ropey in Northampton. It was apparently yesterday was fantastic, but let's hope it improves. Speak soon.